EV glow on the bottle and the takeout. You walked in that overnight bag. Same one you swore you never bring back. You talk great, but your eyes won't match. You talk big, but your hands still touch. We keep falling right back in my hood. Same old movie on same old story. You say it's the last time, then you put midnight in my hood. Midnight, he knew it. We keep falling right back, can't avoid it. We hate that you love how I talk you through it. You say it's the last time, then you prove it. Midnight in my hood, midnight, he do it. You in my sleeves like a small defense. Face half hidden when you second guess. You ask, boy, do you ever regret me? I say, boy, you ain't trying to forget me. Scroll through a pitch, then lock your phone. Say you better alone, but you don't go home. You draw lines that you never obey. You say, you should stop when wait and stay. We keep falling right back in my hood. Same old movie on the same old story. You say it's the last time, then you want midnight in my hood. Midnight, he knew it. We keep falling right back, can't avoid it. Hate that you love, I talk you through it. You say it's the last time, then you prove midnight in my hood. Midnight, he knew it.
All right, guys, let's lock in. Let's lock in. Back for another streaming session here. Let's get into it. Right? Pretty awesome day, to be honest. We got some 2 for 2 for today, right? 2 for 2 on my trading. It was pretty good, and the reason I say that is because the game plan just kind of went accordingly. When I jumped on live, talked to the team a little bit, just kind of give them the lowdown of what I'm seeing and what I think is going to happen, and how we should just kind of be patient, write it open to see what they do. And so that was kind of the whole ordeal. So first play of the morning was QQQ calls at open. And the reason for that is super simple, right? And we'll get on the hourly because the hourly kind of said it all here. Yeah, we saw that we did gap down into my demand, which was the 598, 596 demand right here. That was the target. And we gapped down into it and we held into that demand. You can see right there overnight, right there. Let me take away the recap sign. Right there, you can see, overnight we held that demand, and in the open we held it on the move up. So that's what told me, like, all right, guys, we're hitting our target here. So like we're not going to be slamming puts right at open, because not only are they juiced, not only that was that the move we're looking for, we need to see if they end up holding 600 or not. We're opening up right under it at like 598, 598, 93, so 599. Let's just see what happens, because we're creating these gaps, above. And anytime we gap down, like most of the time, they've been eating that gap right back up. So that was the whole, I would say, just waiting for that move right there, right? So what I did was waited for that, and then ride it open as they aggressively stepped in, buyers aggressively stepped in. That was the whole point. I was on live, told the team right before open, 15 minutes before open, I'm doing my pre-market stuff. I told them, anytime we have a gap down at open, buyers need to step in aggressively, or else we're going to go down, or else we're going to kind of hold or come down. They need to step in aggressively to start closing that gap. And they did exactly that. You can see that where Q is. So, I alerted the 606 lottos for the team about right here, where we actually broke that 600 level. We broke that 600 level and actually alerted those calls into this zone right here. Normally, I would not be alerting into a zone like that, but knowing that we have this gap fill that they're going for, I'm going to play that hourly, and I'm all right with playing those calls. Once we started the gap, that's where I'm like, all right, let's get into it. So I slammed those calls. Team rode with me. We rode from 601 area all the way up there to close that gap at 606. Our calls went in the money. Boom, over 100%. Our calls went over 200%, if you held for that next 2 hours into that move. calls went super in the money, right? We hit a high 609. Notice how we hit that 609 supply, rejected it, came right back down to that demand held, and we kind of just ping ponged here into close. Now, we are seeing a little bit of red after hours here. And you know what? It's down about, at $2.5. We're at 605 here. So we're just kind of holding in this range. I do love how we're in this kind of channel and they faked out sellers down there, pushed us back above, and we got and closed above the channel. So that kind of tells me that we're going to go higher into the week, but it all depends on where we kind of open up tomorrow, right? If we kind of create another gap down a little bit, but we're still higher, like a higher low, then maybe we see a continued push. I don't know, but I'm watching this. Game plans are set for the members posted for QQ. Moving on to our second play, which was NVIDIA. NVIDIA, we absolutely saw was just a textbook, downtrend breakout explosion. We followed up after QQ calls. We went NVIDIA calls. Target was 182 zone, and we hit that perfectly. You can see that right there. It took about 3 hours, but it hit that, perfectly. Calls, worked, and we took our money there. So this is also a name I'm going to be watching going into tomorrow, just in case. We will see. And looking at SPY here, SPY, obviously same thing. SPY held, we pushed. SPY again, is at 683 here after hours. I would say as long as we hold above 680, buyers will be in control. I can't get too bearish with SPY being this close to all-time highs. All-time highs is right up here. We're in the frame still. If we can see all-time highs in the frame of an hourly frame, then do not be getting too bearish here, right? Let's just kind of see what happens here. We would need to break, these lows or the opening lows of SPY and Q from Monday, so today, going into the week for us to get really bearish, because we do have gaps below and we know we can take that out, but we'll see. We will see, right? Notable strength, though, across the board that I did see for the most part was NVIDIA, Microsoft. Microsoft was another one. Falling wedge here. I had it a falling wedge, and it actually kind of, I would say, pushed out a little bit, break out of that falling wedge. Now we're in this zone of 400, 395. Needs to get above 400 for me to really want this back to 407, 409, 411 kind of area. So we'll see about that one. Other was Meta. Meta, really good. This is, textbook. I love this, but flagging right here. Keep an eye on this one going into tomorrow if we see some continuation. This is pretty good flag play. I would need to see this break above 655, 69. Above that should run back to 659, then 663. So kind of this area right here. I know loosely my levels are pretty loose up here. I don't normally trade Meta, but when I do, I go for it. But I like this. That was just kind of showing some strength there. Apple was also showing some decent strength. A little bit of a downtrend breakout, held, ate the gap, kind of holding. Not the craziest, but, better than, a couple other names. Google didn't finish its gap up or its gap that it created above. Amazon did as well. Amazon is holding in this range, pretty nasty range. Has been holding sideways in this area. I'm waiting for above 212. 210, 212 should eat that daily gap higher. We can look at that real quick. Look at this daily gap. Has a gap below down here at 197, and then up here at earnings sell-off gap. So not too bad. I'm watching that. We will see, what kind of happens there. But other than that, Rio Cap, I'm king of the open, baby. We're looking for those explosions, looking for those just explosion at open, right? I don't care if it's up or down. I don't care, what it is. But I like, simple things like today, like 2 for 2. I just love the explosion up or down, just that decisive move and just pushing. It sends those contracts, you're getting over 100%. Even if you're late to the party, you could have been 30 minutes late to the party. You could have woke up late, stumbled out of bed, picked up your phone, got into the Rio Cap Discord, went into my live alerts if you weren't on my live session, and my trade channel, and just followed the trade late, and you still would have gotten 50, 100%. Like you would have been 50 to 100%, depending on, I guess, time of the day for sure. But again, winning, right? Winning. So those are the kind of explosions that we look for and that we get excited about. That's what gets us out of bed there. That's what's worth it, right? So today was some pretty good price action. We're seeing a little bit more after hours here. I like that. Yeah, and let's just kind of see what happens going into tomorrow. We have our setups. We have some pretty good setups. I'm also eyeing IWM as well. Pretty good flag here. Again, opened up under, into that gap down there that I've been eyeing and just faked it out, pushed it right out. Just nasty work. But I know next time that if we get during market hours, if we get a move into this area down here at 257, 256, we're going to eat that gap below. But they ate some of it overnight there and kind of pushed away from it. But the gap's still there. I wouldn't count that overnight stuff as them eating the gap, to be honest. I really wouldn't because it doesn't count. It was overnight stuff. Even though on my chart it took it away, it took a good chunk of it away, doesn't mean that it's actually gone there, right? And we can look at the volume profile as kind of something to cross-reference what I'm talking about here. So volume profile, let's look at that. And you can see down here just how much just no orders are stacked down here. So we know that if we get down here at 257 area, 256, you could be slamming it way before 256, but 257 area, we know we're going to pull down into 255, 254. That's a solid $3 move, $4 move on some IWMs. You are banking for sure. So keep an eye on that. But as far as this, maybe it's holding up pretty well after hours here. Maybe we see kind of more upside. I don't know. We'll see pre-market, right? Pre-market kind of tells me which ones are still valid and which ones are not. AMD here had a gap below, which it ate. Look how it wicked into it, hit that demand, pushed right out, ate half of or most of the gap above. It had gaps above and below. Very tricky, but this is just one of those times where, this is very tricky stuff. And you got to understand the market likes to, when it had gaps above and below, like today, the market likes to run to one and then run to the other. It's just how it goes. And this was a prime example of that. We came down and you can see still some of that shaded gap down there that we ate some of it, turned around, wicked away from it, and ran to that next move up or that gap it created overnight. So pretty crazy stuff there. But anyways, yeah, really good wins for us. Look at that. Q still going lower here. Let's go take a look at MNQ. Let's go to the futures here. Futures is coming right back. Notice this blue level I put last night. This was the same blue level that I was talking about right here that I just kind of put in the sand. I was like, we need to get above that to go higher, back to Friday's highs and take that out. And of course, when I got off live, we rejected, went lower, came down. You can see it open. We exploded out and ran straight to that blue level. Notice how you could have taken calls and, capitalize that next move up, from there all the way up to there, which was, over 200 points. Now we're coming right back down for that retest. Now we need to hold this. If not, we're just going to erase this move right back down. And if we break today lows tomorrow or anytime during the week, we know puts are definitely going to bang. So that's a good proxy to kind of I would say kind of keep in mind that if, we break those lows, it's always good to, that puts are definitely going to work and the candle's going red on the weekly and stuff like that. So, keep that in mind for sure. Another good play I saw was Netflix at open. I looked away from it. It was good. I charted it out a little bit loosely on stream there. Notice how we opened up outside of the flag, and this was the only kind of real play I saw at open. No hesitation. Opened right here at 95, 30-ish, rocketed to 98, almost a $3 move, $2.70 move on some Netflix contracts. You're definitely winning on that at open. Nice hourly explosion, exactly what we're looking for right there. And we catch those all the time. So, we that's how I do it, guys. When I'm posting gains in the morning, it's, we're looking for that explosion. We're looking for that move. And these are the moves I look for right here. These are the moves I lead the team with. These are the moves I trade live. These are the moves right here. And luckily it wasn't just one or two this morning. It was a good amount, right? Netflix, one of them, Meta, one of them, explosion right there. Tesla, one of them, boom. Of course, Microsoft, one of them, boom. SPY and QQ, you know, one of them, boom, that we went with. NVIDIA, of course, boom, you know. So today was a, you know, long your favorite big tech, as long as your favorite big tech is one of those names I just said, you know. So pretty easy, I don't know, pretty easy day for us. And it's a good way to start off Monday. And, you know, we keep it pushing just like that, guys, just like that. If you're not getting access to my trades, you're not following my trades, or at least have me in your corner, guys, what are you doing? $100 a month just to get access, you know, to my trades. That pays for itself, one trade for sure. Like it's so easy. $100 is nothing. If you want to be serious, become a top member, $250 a month. You get my live trading, one-on-one sessions with me, and of course, everything members get, right? RioCap AI, everything included, charts, all that, all my setups. Again, you know, just super good value, right? I had one top member, and I tweeted it out too, like just tweeted it out. But in top member, you know, green on the day, slammed those 606s, got over 138%, you know, and they just became a top member after just being a member. Again, you know, that was super worth it to them, upgrading like that. And if you're serious, that's it. $100 just gets you in the door. 250 gets you to the party. You know what I'm saying? Get no Diddy, but it gets you to the party. But it's worth it. I'd say it's worth it. Whatever you want to do. I give free content out, you know, on X, YouTube, whatever. So if that's more along your lines of your speed, just, you know, tap it in with me on the free side, then that's all right too. I appreciate you as well. But if you're serious, you know, join the team, walk.com/Rigo Capital, get my trades, join the team, lock in with me all year. Let's go, dude. Let's make some money and let's do it. So we out here, we're making money. And, you know, this is just how it goes right here. This is just how it goes, guys. When it comes to, you know, making money and doing things like that, like I know y'all see me on the real estate side. You know, I'm finally closing this third property deal, you know, right. I'm in the process of closing it right now. All this wouldn't have started without trading. Trading is the number one vehicle first for me, at least, of getting that money, of just opening my eyes and just getting better at, you know, kind of what I'm doing. It was trading, right? I look back and be like, dude, my life changed. Not only am I passionate about trading and I love trading and all that, but my life changed when I was just chasing trading. And I got better, kept getting better. And, you know, by year 2, people were like looking at me like, okay. Year 3, okay. Year 4, all right, he's up to it. Year 5, okay, he's killing it now. You know, year 6, they want in on it. Year 7, you know, they're begging me. Year 8, it's like, all right, he's on a different level. Year 9, different level. Now I'm on year 9, year 10 here. Year 10, they're just like, dude, that's just crazy. Like you're on a completely different level. And of course, you know, I'm on year 10. Some of y'all on year 1, some of y'all on year 5, some of you on year 3, wherever you're at. It starts with trading. Just make the money, put that money in other assets, put that money in other things that's going to make you money, and just get back to trading. Get back to just let this be your vehicle to create cash daily. You know, I don't care if it's $10, $100, $50, $200, $500. Someone told me the other day, like, I was just like, man, trading was all right today. And they're like, why, what's up? I only made like $500, only made $200. And they're just like, what are you talking about? Like, that's insane money. Obviously to someone that doesn't trade, or obviously someone that's like not really used to something like that. And I was like, yeah, I know, but I'm used to averaging, you know, 1,000 to 2,000 a day, or, you know, more or less or whatever. Or I made some mistakes today. I only made 200, I only made 50, I only made 500, I only made 600. I tell that to people that don't trade, and they're just like looking at me like I'm insane, because to them that's like, you know, a few days of work easily. So, or a week, or however much you make, whatever. It's not about the money. It's about improving your situation. And trading for me did that. Notice how Q is down $4 here. We are really kind of pulling back a little bit harder here. 602, 601 is going to need to hold. If not, this may have been, you know, kind of a bounce up rejection right back down. And if we go red on the week, that's where, you know, we're going to be taking puts for sure. But we'll see. We'll see. If we hold higher lows, meaning we don't break today's opening range, then I'm going to be a little bit more skeptical. We'll see though. But absolutely, back to, you know, trading, man. Trading is the best. You know, I love it. It's definitely something that, you know, is a vehicle, like I said, to other better things. Some people are like, I just want to trade all day and all that. When I went through periods of where I was just trading all day, and that's all I was involved in. It was that, and then the gym. it gets boring. I promise you, it gets boring. And then you're like, no, don't tell me that. Like, I'm down for that. Like, no, trust me. You can do more. You can do more. You can do other things. It doesn't have to be just trading. And so I learned that too. I was like, I can do more. And that's why I continue to work harder and do other things. And then, build on Rico Capital, and then, take it to where it is now, and then just, real estate now, and then just other things, other businesses, other avenues, other grinds, other cash flows. Just spreading yourself out like that is going to help, any type of downside risk, right? I love trading. Don't get me wrong. Like, I can print money at any point. That's the best thing about trading. I'm in the airport. I'm trading, I'm on vacation. I'm trading. I'm wherever I want to be in the world. I'm trading. And that's the best part about it, because I don't got to clock in or do any restriction like that. I can just, if the market's open, let me see if I can throw something out right now, right? Let me throw a dart and you know what I'm saying? Just catch something and make it. I don't care. Sometimes I do that in the airport and make a quick $200, quick $100. It's not even about the money. It's about the lifestyle. It's about the will. It's about the higher frequency of just, all right, that wasn't shit at all. Like, that was amazing, So mindset, right? Change your mind, change your life. And of course, the new saying that I've been saying to myself that has just been helping me out so much is, you can't have in your hand what you don't have in your mind. I think that's the most powerful thing for me right now. And it's so true, because I got here first thinking my way into it, right? You ever see big mansions, you ever see big houses, you ever see something that inspires you, and you're just like, how can I get from where I'm at to there? And in my mind, I would sit back and be like, how can I do it? How can I do it? Well, first, it takes involving yourself in something bigger that can potentially give you that opportunity, right? If you involve yourself in a 9 to 5 that's always going to pay you $15 an hour, $20 an hour, $30 an hour, whatever, that's all you're going to make. If you involve yourself in the market trading or something, one of these days, right, you might hit something absolutely insane and it changes your life. And I'm telling you, it happens, because it's happened to me, and it will happen to you the longer you stay in, because it's the law of probability, right? And it'll be life-changing money for you, and then you go from there. So that's the thing right there. You got to involve yourself into something that gives you the opportunity, just gives you the opportunity. If you don't even have the opportunity, you have no chance. At least give yourself the opportunity. So and then the next thing for me was just, can I think myself into that situation, right? Your mind is very powerful. Can you think your way into that mansion, into that life you want? Can you manifest it? Can you do that? And it takes some time, but I can tell you, yes, you can definitely do it, because I'm doing it. I've done it, and I'm continuously doing it. And I hope you guys can take a little bit of inspiration off that as well, because again, go big, go big, go big. I don't care. It's a new year still. Go big. I want you to be thinking about goals or thinking about things that are just insane, that if you said it out loud, like, people would look at you crazy that you want that. That's what I would do. And even if you fall short, you're still falling short on, you're still being great. I promise you, still being great. So that's the beauty about it. But yeah, again, SPY, Q a little bit weaker here after hours. Nvidia kind of holding up as well, but still flagging. You know what? I do like some of these downsides. SPY and Q still have those gaps open. IWM still has those gaps open. I don't mind, going for that, but we'd have to lose that 600 level for Q. We're at 604 right now after hours, so we're still hanging around in this area. It all depends. For QQ, for me, it all depends if we kind of create another gap, but I would really want to see this a break above that 608, 609 kind of, those highs for me to really want to take calls tomorrow. Same thing kind of for SPY. I would want to see us break above that 688 zone right here. I want to see us clear that. If we can clear that, then I know we're going to run to 690, 691. Again, we're not too far from all-time highs. I'm not going to get too bearish. We are just, I'm in the hourly time frame. We can still see all-time highs in this hourly time frame. So my rule is, if we can still see the all-time highs in the horizon, then I'm not going to be getting too bearish. I'm not. Even though, I'm not saying you can't make money on puts and, midday stuff and whatever the case may be. I'm just saying at any point, they might bounce this and move us strong right to those highs, and you don't want to be caught off guard. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying. That's why I say go for weaker names for that move. Look for gap fills. Look for things like that. So we got some high conviction setups. Looking at it for tomorrow for a few of these names. These are posted for members as well, and we got SPY and QQ game plans looking for those wins, looking for that. So, all right, good stuff. Questions? Let me know. If not, we are good. We are set. We are ready to go. Ready to kill it. Off to a great start this week. Ready to make it. We're still doing the iPad challenge or the MacBook challenge. I'm sorry, not the iPad challenge. MacBook challenge. That new MacBook that just came out today from Apple. They dropped a bunch of new products, which is just like random stuff, speakers or whatever. But yeah, I'm going for that MacBook challenge. $600 is the key. Yeah, today's plays could have done it, but I want to play where I want to alert for free for everybody, right? On the main, it's going to be members get it, and then the main Rio Capital Twitter give it out same time, me take it and then show you the gains and be like, this is the money, the exact money I am going to go buy the new MacBook this weekend with. And that's the challenge. We got to look for that play, whatever that play is. I wanted to say it was coming tomorrow. I don't know if it is. Maybe we get that downside. Maybe it's a gap fill. I know I'll be able to make it with that, and I'll definitely be able to alert it. So keep in mind for that as well. That's on the that's what I'm going to be looking for the MacBook challenge. So got to get that right. Got to get that going. Awesome stuff. All right, game plans are set. Everything's set. Looking good. Let's see what we can do tomorrow on live and go from there. A little bit of redness after hours. I think MNQ needs to hold this blue level right here. I would say you can just kind of round this up a little bit to 24,670, I guess. Hold it there. It needs to hold here. If not, if we end up kind of seeing those lows again and break them, that's going to be a clear sign to be, we got to take that out. Maybe they come sweep this liquidity again. I don't know, but we got to take out those lows. I'm going to be very careful when we get down there. Once they sweep them and we keep it pulling down, then that's when it's a guaranteed win right there. So we'll probably be looking at that, but we will see right there on what happens. So it all depends. Anyways, all right. Game plans are set. Everything's looking good. I'm ready to kill it. Hopefully you guys join me. WAP.com/Rio Capital. Get in here. Join the team, make some money with me, and let's go. MacBook challenge this week. I'm still ready. We're looking for it. Looking for the banger for that move, right? I'm going to tell you how many contracts I'll take. I'll probably take like 20 of them, and we'll look for that 30, 40, 50% to make that, $600 easy. 30% gets us in the door, right, at, $600, but I want 40, 50%, so we can have a little bit more spending money, right? Maybe get some accessories or something. I don't know. We'll see. MacBook challenge. Let's do this. Anyways, all right. Game plans are set. Everything's set. SPY QQ game plans are set. Let's see what we can do here. Perfect. All right. I'll see you guys out there. Let me know if y'all need anything. DM me if y'all need anything. And, of course, any questions, let me know. I got y'all. See y'all out there. Have a good rest of y'all's night.